All right, so we've completed the two handlers, the encoder and decoder. And now the next one is we need to start the core handler, which is, what is the core handler? It's where the message is processed. Now, the message is decoded back into the Java object, and now it's in the server. So what are you going to do with the message? And that's what we're going to do for that handler. Now, let's go back to the code, and we need to new a class. We need to create a class called server. Give me a second. Here, handler here. So we need to create a class called RPC Server Message Handler. Okay, so this is the core. We say that the core handler to process the message. All right, so this is the inbound handler. So we can extend simple inbound channel inbound handler. So the generic type is message payload. And we need to do a method. We need to implement a method, which is the read channel read. This is when the message comes in this handler after it's been decoded. And now when we get this message, now the message is already in the server. What do you want to do with it, right? So we have in the server, there are two main tasks. All right, two main tasks. The first is forward the message, right? So because we have two types of message, RPC request and RPC response, right? So if the message type is about a request, then we need to forward it. Now, if the message type is about response, and then we need to return it back to the consumer, right? So first of all, the first thing we need to do is that we get the message type, and then we get the type, and then let's check if the message type, what is this message type? If it equals this one more thing, the register, we need to do three things, right? Forward the message, register client, and return the response. All right, so, and then if the message type equals core, and then if the message type equals response. Okay, so we have three different tasks in this handler. Okay, so first of all, we need to provide three different private methods for this three tasks. So for the register, we can say register client into section. And then we can put a message into it, message payload into it, and then the channel. Oh, easier one, CTX. You can get a channel from here, from the channel handler context. So this channel handler context is simply the it has the handler, it has everything in it, so you can get a channel from it. Okay, so here we create a method, and also we can if that's equal to core, we still need to think about, like, we need to, if there's a core, we need to forward, right? So if we want to forward this request, we need to find out we need to find out the producer, find out the channel of the producer. So which means we need to have something that can store the channel, can store the information of every client that has been connected to the server. Alright, so then we need to create another class doing so. Let's say we can say it's called client section manager. Okay, I'll create another class here. It's in the server. We create a class called client section manager. So in this class, we are going to maintain the information of the client channels. So in that, we need to have a map. We need to have two maps, basically. Private static final map. This is the key is the channel the client ID. The value is the channel, the Netty channel. And that's the code register clients. Okay, and then we need a concurrent hash map. So we save the client ID and the channels in this map. And we still need another map. We need another map called now the key is the string and the value is the message payload. We need to save this message payload into the map we call a request map, because every request we need to save it into a map. The reason we save it because we need to find the consumer from the message. And how can we find the consumer? This message has the client ID. This is the consumer ID. And we need this ID to find the channel of the consumer, because we need to return the result back to it after you successfully initiated RPC, right? So new concurrent hash map again. So we can put a few static method first. Static void. We need to register the channel. So client ID channel, and then you can check if Boolean, if the client is the client register. You need to check. The reason we need to check is we need to do it for the heartbeat check. And then we need to get the client channel. Easy. We need to return a channel, get client channel, and then we can return what register client get client ID. Okay, so also you need to put a request. Put request. Message payload. Oh, and then what we are going to do is that we need to get the request ID. The key is the request ID here. We need to use the request ID to get the message payload out. Alright, so we need to downcast into RPC request. So cast it into the RPC request, and then we can get the request ID, and then request map, put RPC request.get request ID, and then put the message in it. That's it. So we put the message, we save the message into the concurrent hash map. and the key is the request ID. Okay, then we can get the request client. We can get the message payload. So we can get the request client. We say get request client message. So we can return request map using the request ID to find out the message payload, and then who sent out the message payload. There's one more. We need to clear that. We need to clear. We can do this later on. Okay, that's it. That's enough for us to use it. So we come back to the RPC server message handler. So first we need to register, right? And then what we are going to do is client section manager dot register, and we put the message dot get client ID with the channel. So this one is when the client is connected to the server, and it needs to send out a registration message to register itself into the server. All right. So once it's registered into the server in the core here, we can find it out. We can find it out. How can we find it out? Now, first of all, we need to get the message, the request out, get payload, and we need to cast it into the RPC request. So from the RPC request, now if we need to check something, first. If the message payload dot get client ID dot equals RPC request dot get request a client ID. So which means, what does this mean? Consumer calls itself. Yeah. So that's definitely throat new runtime exception. You can't. It's not allowed, right? So the consumer calls itself. So this is not allowed. Something wrong. Okay. So we can give a message client ID and request client ID are the same. Okay, then if it's not the same, we can using the class that we created, the client section manager, get the client channel using the client ID. But we are looking for producer channel, right? So we need to pass it the RPC request. We need to use the request the client's ID to find out the producer. So we call this one. This is the service we call. All right, and then we get its channel. And if channel is no, if it's no, then you need to do something. Throw new runtime exception. All right. Channel does not exist. So that means if the channel is null, that is probably that the client is already disconnected. So we need to check what happened. All right. So that's it. And then we need to forward. We need to create a method forward request to client, and then we can pass the message, and we pass the channel. That's it. That's message payload. Is it? Yeah, message payload. And then we create the private method for this. Okay, forward. Okay, it's simple. First, you need to save the request first before you forward it. client section manager dot put request, and you put the message in it. Now you save the message, and then you change the message type to forward. And then you channel write it out. Channel, how do you write out the message? Write and flush, and just simply pass it the payload. That's it. Easy, simple, right? Okay, so the next step is the response. When the response is returned, we need to send it back to the consumer, right? Okay, so how do we do it? So we need to return the request, right, to the client. All right, so we can create a method as well. We say the returned response to client. Then we can just give it a message payload, right? Private method again. All right, so in here, because we return it, we need to get the response out first. Message payload, get response, get payload, and then we need to cast it to response, RPC response. Why do I need a response? Why do I need this response? Because this response contain the request ID, response.get request ID. We can use this request ID to get the original request from the consumer. We get the request client message, we give the request ID in it, and then we get the original request message. And in this original message, there is a consumer ID, and that's what we need, because we need to send the response back to the consumer. All right, so client channel section manager, client section manager dot get client channel, and then we use the ID, get client ID, to get the channel. This is the client channel. Channel write the response back to the consumer. It's damned. It's all damned. Right? So this is the core handler. And don't forget, we need to do one more thing since we finish all this handler. You see what we put a to-do here. We need to register all the handlers we completed to the server. So here, socket channel, pipeline, add last. First, we need to add encoder. Okay, we add the encoder. New, what is the name? JSON core message encoder. And then we add the second channel. We add a second handler, which is called JSON message decoder. And then we add the core channel. The core channel is the main logic. Okay, it contains the main logic. It's the one that we've just completed. It's called RPC ServerMessageHandler. Okay, it's all done right now. So once we register all these handlers, so every message when it's arrived in the server from the Netty client channel, it will be processed by all these channels. By all these handlers. All right. So, if you don't understand, then you can watch the lesson 2. Okay, watch it again, and I explained what's the pipeline, what is inside the pipeline, what are the inbound and outbound handlers, what they are doing. Okay, it's all included in lesson 2. So if you don't remember, you don't understand, go back to lesson 2 and watch the video again. And also, if you have any question, you can write comments on the course, or you can message me. I will try to reply. Okay, I'll try to reply as soon as possible. I don't guarantee that I can reply on the same day, but I can guarantee you that I will definitely reply to any questions. Any questions? All right, that's it. So this is the called server handler, and we completed this one, and then the next one it's the another handler. Okay, we have a client handler. All right.